podcast. We back at it. Special guest, my boy Monstroe, aka Stroe One, Los Angeles native, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
West side, the best side.
Always, man. Crenshaw District.
Man, I appreciate you being here. Shout out to the Crenshaw District, man. There's quite a few things that caused you to be an interesting guest today. And not that we have a box here as far as personalities on Factz Ova Feelinz. However, you do kind of like somewhat fit outside the box. I had no idea we had a mutual friend in Mohawk Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Mohawk Matt.
Yeah, shout out Matt. I know him from the graffiti community.
That's deep, because Mohawk Matt was a prior guest here on Factz Ova Feelinz, and I consider him a brother, man. He's a very passionate, sincere, loyal dude.
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with his background and all that, and I feel like he has actually redeemed the way he thinks about the world. But he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Just getting started, won't you give the listeners or the viewers a little bit of your background as to some of the things that you have been involved in that caused you to be on platforms describing your interests and your lifestyle?
All right, a little bit about me. I grew up on Vernon and 10th Ave, over in the area known as the 40s. I grew up in the Crenshaw District.
40s.
I was, yes, sir. I participated in the graffiti movement, man. I was originally from a crew called NBT, and they went on to do other things.
What does NBT stand for, if anything?
NBT stands for Nothing But Trouble. I used to run with them in the mid to late 80s.
Mid to late.
We went to a school called Audubon. We used to be up there riding on buses and stuff like that.
Audubon Middle School.
Yes, sir.
That's right up from the Crenshaw Mall. Got the Krispy Kremes on the corner now, right there. Huh?
Yeah, we used to be around there doing our thing before the mall was even built.
Wow, so what year was the mall built?
I would say around 89, 88, something like
so
that, late 88.
You can picture that property without the mall. Was it empty?
Yeah, it was a construction site, and we used to go up there and come up on spray paint, shit the construction workers would leave behind.
That remind me of Devil's Dip when they was building the 105 freeway right there in the lanes and in the Millers.
Yeah, my sons stay over there in the lanes right now. They on 110th and Fig.
Do you remember Devil's Dip?
Nah, bro.
All right,
West Side, but
Devil's Dip. Just let me clarify. When the years they was building the 105, when they moved all those homes out of there and knocked them down, there was these big ass dirt areas for years where the people with the motorcycles used to come and do their shit.
Okay.
The people.
Yeah.
They had the little hills, the big hills, and all that. And we used to even like take bikes up there, BMXs. I remember I had a story on the handlebars. I let my older cousin Rico from Millers on my mama. I'm the youngest nigga up there with my brothers and my cousins on bikes. And I let this nigga talk me into getting on my handlebars. He didn't have a bike. I got on my handlebars and went down a hill. And you know how it ended up.
Yeah, you playing with the game, bro.
Yeah, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I go back to them days, man. Riding on handlebars and ice cream trucks, and all through the Aves, man, the Vernon Avenues.
Throw up tackle.
Yeah, man, all that shit. But yeah. So I grew as an artist and got into rhyming around like 92.
So you were, when you said in the 80s when you was from NBT.
Yeah,
that's considered tagging?
Yeah, it was. It's before the term tag banging. I don't like to put that on it because in our era, motherfuckers already had a reserved seat in certain sets. It's just that graffiti was so prevalent at the time, everybody was on it.
So when you say you don't respect or accept or identify with the term tag banging, are you saying that I'm aware that the tagging culture is no longer? And a large majority of it blended and fused with the banging culture.
Yeah.
Are you saying you didn't make that transition once the tag culture that was purely tag?
Well, I'm just saying I'm before that term tag banging.
But did you
I think it should be separate.
Did you ever end up considering yourself a banger as well as a tagger, or
I mean, I had beef with people based on what crew I affiliated with. You know what I'm saying? It kind of was transitioning into that.
Because I remember at one point, the tag community was somewhat of the good guy, bad guy way of not being a nerd or a banger.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like the fork in the road.
Yes.
Either you gonna put the can down and pick this strap up, or you know, do whatever you do and shit.
What?
You know what I'm saying? It's like a training ground and shit.
What happened? Because I remember like the hello stickers and the markers and the bus shit. So, and then I remember because I had homies from K-Dub, I had homies from NBT, and a lot of other little cliques. And I remember when there was a difference between taggers and bangers, and then I remember when taggers started banging on each other without actually gang banging. And then I remember when tagging died, and then it was just all bangers. What caused that transition?
Well, I mean, in the crew, in the graffiti community, you had motherfuckers that was seriously about the art, the craft of it, and then you had motherfuckers that was there to just fuck shit up. You know what I'm saying? But it was all about getting up. You know what I mean? We stole all our clothes. We stole all our supplies and shit, man. We was like a mob. That's when the term, you know, mobbing came out and shit. Motherfuckers used to write on shit and call it mobbing.
What did they call that when y'all used to go on this racking? Was it
racking? Yeah.
He was a racker.
Niggas had the racks and shit.
Oh, my mama.
We had the Walkman spot at South Bay. You know what I'm saying? We used to go meet up at the 40 stop, take the 40 all the way to South Bay.
Mall?
Oh, this was South Bay Mall, Galleria.
Oh, the Galleria, okay, Artesia. All right, yeah.
Yep.
What spot was up there?
We had Tower Records there.
Okay.
We had Nordstrom's. That was the Jabot spot, the Stussy spot. You know what I'm saying?
Brand X, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then and shit, man. Fools used to rack tapes and shit.
So tell me, is you being one of the original individuals tapped into the LA graffiti scene that hasn't gotten the same type of notoriety or look as the New York graffiti scene, do you think your experience as a graffiti artist as a youth are similar to the New York's? Were you heavily inspired from what they did? Because when I think about graffiti as a culture and an art form, I think about B Street. Yeah. And we're exact same age. We're just months apart. And was your introduction from to the art of graffiti similar as mine from the B Street type movies, or where do you get that?
Yeah, it all came from you know, the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west.
So does the sea.
You know what I'm saying?
The sea started in the E, the rest came from the west. That's all. Go ahead.
So I mean, yeah, my influences came from that. You know, when breaking came out and Ice-T was real prevalent at the time, I just wasn't. You know, I just stayed, my roots is West, you know what I'm saying? But we had Ice-T, you know, Toddy T, Batarang, King T, you know, but it all definitely came from the West. They had Subways, we had the RTD.
The RTD. What about when you if I'm coming from the east side, going up Slauson to the swap meet, off to the right, that wall.
Yeah.
Have you ever been up on there?
Yeah.
Is that like a spot to be?
That back in the days it was, man. It all the latest riders, the new styles and all that shit. That was like one of them walls you had to be tapped into to be current in regards to like where graffiti was going and growing.
I could imagine so. I work as a longshoreman at the docks, and I get to see a lot of the freight.
You had that ocean money.
Oh, my mama, God is good. Blessed abundantly, man. Some people will laugh at the 9 to 5, and then you just laugh back at them and don't even know why you laughing harder than they laughing. You feel me?
Some for show money.
What? Oh, my mama don't like. But I get to see some of the art. Have you ever been active on the on that?
On the Slauson wall?
No. You already said the Slauson wall. I'm about the freight, the trains.
Oh,
because you know they go across the state. Is there anything? I always think about it like, damn. When I see a piece on one of those freights and I see the train leaving and I don't know where it's going, I wonder if they trying to show people elsewhere. Like I'm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a line of communication from different states and shit. You know what I'm saying? You get your name up and then see other names and stuff like that, but. It was a while where I kind of like detoured from graffiti. Like when I got to Crenshaw High School in like 91, I started getting into rhyming a lot, into like deep into the hip hop and stuff like that.
So Lamert was known for having a very rich underground scene for hip hop back then. Were you involved in that at all? Any of the
Yeah, I was on the kind of like the outskirts of it because it was this open mic event called Project Blow.
Indeed.
That used to happen every Thursday night. Shout out to all my Blow family, Freestyle Fellowship, you know what I'm saying? LA Cool, Rifleman, Mr. CR, all of them. But before that, they had The Good Life, which was on Exposition.
That's what I remember too.
It was an open mic thing, and they booed the shit out of Fat Joe when he tried to come up there and shit. 'Cause, see, The Good Life, that shit was like, they had a no cursing policy and shit, which I thought was kind of lame and shit. So Joe got up there cursing, they just like booed him and shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, if you have to rely on cursing to be dope or acceptable or cool or entertaining, then I kind of challenge your talent.
Yeah.
I kind of, when it comes to being artistic, the game has gotten so random and freestyle that anything goes. I kind of prefer parameters. It brings the best out of me. Like, I have a certain individual I work with over the years. His name is Jerome. Shout out to Jerome at AZ. He calls me every few years with a new project he's working on. And it's like, hey, I'm working on this project. It's titled this. It's about this. I need a theme song. I want it to kind of feel like this, and I want it to be about this. I love that type of shit.
Well, I mean, as an artist, man, you always got to push yourself, man. You don't want to stay in one box. The thing about it is you got to be willing to make mistakes and hits and misses, and that adds to your growth and integrity as an artist.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying?
Were you ever involved with whatever it is that causes people to try to get their name up in the most apparently impossible places? Have you ever done anything, got your tag up somewhere where you would think was impossible? And some of the places, it's a two-part question.
Yeah.
Some of the places that seem impossible, like some of them freeway spots and some of that high shit, how do they pull it off?
Man, them motherfuckers, they go on night missions and motherfuckers get on each other's shoulders, pause, you know what I'm saying, get ladders and all kind of shit. I ain't never really pound the pavement like that. When that shit came out, it was like kind of later on in the game. Like I said, I started writing in 87, and then around the 90s, and
I was in 7th grade.
Detoured from it and shit, and got into, other shit.
Rhyming.
Rhyming, and, caught a couple of cases, tried to sell weed, and started getting into other shit in my neighborhood.
And when you started catching cases, around what age and how far did being incarcerated take you off the path that you
Let's see. I mean, my first time in a controlled environment was like in 4th grade, 84. I was, my thing was starting fires and shit. Fucking.
Oh, you a pyro? Hey,
throwing rocks and shit. You come on, man. You was some wild kids.
Yeah, mischievous. Yes, indeed.
So that was my first little stint at that. And then I first caught my actual case when the motherfuckers started busting checks around like early 90s. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to the Wells Fargo up there on Slauson, come back with an envelope full of money and shit. And yeah, got booked for that.
And ended up in prison?
Nah. This is just I was early on in my little shit. It's
right.
A few days in the holding tank, and I got on probation, violated that. That's when I first seen the county.
Okay. And what was your experience? How old were you?
19.
Considered non-affiliate?
Yeah.
Explain to us the experience of everything you heard of and everything you thought about, and you hit the LA County Jail at the age of 19, non-affiliate, the way it smells, the way it looks, the way what's it like?
Man, my big thing, I heard a lot about riots and shit, you know what I'm saying? So I was kind of like settling in on the racial politics, and then I would know motherfuckers that's from my area, and then slowly start to get put in the car and shit, you know what I'm saying? You gotta watch who you affiliate up in here. You feel me?
Tory Lanez. Y'all, I went viral giving Tory Lanez advice saying, be careful what type of alliances you allow to be placed upon you without you realizing it. That's a very key thing. But go ahead. Tell Tory Lanez, tell him what he should do, because he's in your position right now, and he's from out of town.
Oh, is that right? He trying to like get up under a car, like in jail, start late in the game and shit?
He's in CDC, and he's a non-affiliate. Okay. And I was doing an interview recently. shout out to 360 Degrees, my boys, and we were discussing Tory Lanez's plight in the California prison system. And I happened to just answer the question to the best of my ability at the moment, and other outlets have grabbed it since then. And it's kind of like titled me giving Tory Lanez advice as a non-affiliate in our prison system.
If you ain't about that ism at an early age like that, don't wait till you go to jail to start pushing the line, because that you skipping a lot of training that you miss out on, and your performance ain't gonna be, your performance is gonna be wavering, and it's gonna smell that on you, and you just gonna be a target up in there.
I have a son-in-law who I'm not sure what he's actually up to. But when he came into my life, my daughter was still in high school, and because she lived with her mother, their relationship had developed to a point that I had no control over already. I probably would have tried to pace it out differently had I been involved. So when I became familiar with the dude, he presented himself as L7 square, bozo, goofy, cool dude, and he had the persona and everything. Very shortly thereafter, I realized he was trying to claim Lantana. So I called my cell, rest in peace to my nigga Young Flo from Lantana. We considered ourselves bullying him out of, I had the nigga that ran the young homies from Lantana, basically tell him you can't claim Lantana for me, and ran him off. And then we pursued having a life together, and I had my granddaughter and da-da-da-da-da. He kind of got out of my immediate supervision and kind of reverted to some of his old tactics, and he's in prison now. Yeah. And I've been trying to advise him for the last few years to stick to the non-affiliate. And I'm not sure how he's played it out, but
some motherfuckers hear non-affiliate and they think it's on some buster shit or something.
Oh, my mama, tell him,
man, at the end of the day,
man,
and shit,
talk
man,
to him,
motherfuckers join gangs, I mean, in my experience, out of different reasons. Everybody.
No, go say, I know what you was finna say.
Ain't no front line
I'm a
hitter.
gangbanger, but say what you was gonna say.
Some motherfuckers join out of fear.
Former
some motherfuckers
gangbang.
don't even be wanting to be from it, but get like punked into it. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's time to perform,
the nigga Dirt Rock
ain't really it.
Cuz just did an interview 4 years ago, but it's going viral now. In that interview, he's talking about how he turned Southside. He said he was claiming something else in their hood, and the nigga Southside told him, nigga, you better turn or we gonna rob you. And he tried to make it sound reputable that I turned Southside after. Rest in peace, Baby Lane. Free BG Al, my loc, Mike DeRoe. But yeah, just imagine that. A nigga on there trying to sound as gangster as he can and said, I turned the hood because they said they was going to rob me if I did. So I understand what you're saying. But I'm not knocking the element of the game where I know a lot of niggas get pressed into turning the set. And if you not strong-minded or from a family that really give a fuck about you, that care about you, a lot of people would just fall victim to that pressure. You walk into school every day, them niggas that you been nervous bully, and if you ain't the person going back reporting to your parents, you got them kind of parents that ain't scared enough to get in your business. That's how a gang of niggas turn the set. And that's how we end up with so many busters from the set too. Pressing niggas to do some shit they wasn't trying to do.
I mean, we let me see, this was right before NBT turned into a set. We had some shit called Lamert Park Gangsters, and you had to get I got jumped on that, and you motherfuckers started that.
So they was mimicking gangbanging without trying to gangbang.
When the 40s came, was like, nigga, niggas is making too much noise up here. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I still got respect for motherfuckers in my area based on me being me. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have to follow or chase no, or Me Too or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? As long as you stay, the easiest thing to be is yourself, man.
I had some cousins from Perverts. How did the Perverts play into the K-Dub trouble politics?
Perverts.
Was they intertwined?
Yeah, somewhat. You had Perverts, Posers, Kings of Drags.
Kings of KOD, I remember.
You had Where Bone, rest in peace, WDC.
We don't care.
Dirty Old Men, Eat Up. All them little cliques and shit.
Was it Every Man's Fantasy?
Every Woman's Fantasy.
Yeah.
I think they turned Damu, I think, in the Valley and shit. Yeah.
Okay. And not to try to incriminate or put you out there, so if you want to plead the fifth, go ahead. Did your street thugging career stop with the tagging, or did you cross over into the gangbanging as well?
Nah, I didn't fully go on like front line, but I used to say, put it like this: if I get locked up, send me to a neighborhood dorm and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm gonna get pressed, then I'm gonna be with motherfuckers that's from my area.
Shout out to Davey, my boy Bullet Loco from 9-7. That ain't from 9-7. It's the craziest thing in my life. I'll be on the internet sometime and I'll be having niggas troll me. That's from the east side. That ain't from my section, right? And then they'll be like, man, you ain't really no 9-7. Nigga, I fuck with niggas like Bullet. And I sent it to Bullet, and me and Bullet laugh hard as a motherfucker. Because he one of my partners, one of my best friends in life to this day. But he was like raised on 97th Street from a very young age. Okay. And like he's synonymous with the environment, the area, but he's not actually from the hood. He never gangbang. And I'm so proud of him because the homies apply so much pressure on him through the years. And without him being aggressive, saying, you got me fucked up, he finessed his way saying, y'all got me fucked up. I'm not never.
Right.
And he never skipped a beat on the block. He had all the support from the homies. He politicked with the homies. When the homies needed him for something, they was able to come for him. He facilitated certain shit. But when we called a meeting, kiss my ass.
I'm gone to the house.
And I admire him so much for that because at one point in life, who he seemed to be looked like a weakness. But as you mature into a man, you see the strength that it represented. I salute you, Bullet, on my mama.
I feel it's important because there's different roles from in my experience and growing up in that, there's different roles that people play in gangs and shit. Everybody ain't no front line hitters. Some motherfuckers is hustlers. Some motherfuckers is just around. And
Busters.
Well, that you ain't getting no stripes from no hood.
But
it's being, you're going to have to give it up.
It's still not a complete hood unless all those elements are present. Just like in the ocean. You got the things that are healthy for the ocean, but it's not a complete ocean without the bullshit.
Right.
That's why we have scavengers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, everybody needs a motherfucker who could cross that threshold and get in different circles and represent their area in a way where the message don't get distorted. You feel me?
Shout out to my homie Baby Stein from 6ix9ine because one of the things he expressed to me recently in a text message as I've been making moves that are progress personally for me, but sometimes may cause your image to be in question with your old roots.
Right.
He said something to me recently. He was like, man, one thing I can say about you is you don't misrepresent the section. And it's kind of difficult to find yourself at that position with some of your most reputable comrades when you on here trying to be positive, trying to be progressive with positivity and clean cut, not trying to accentuate or highlight the things that you did in the past that made you a bad guy. When you're trying to leave those things in the shadow and rely on your more positive attribute, sometimes it's kind of hard to make sure those that really know what you've been up to are not, disappointed in how you're presenting yourself. So when you find people supportive of it, you just kind of put me in the mind frame of that.
Yeah, it's all about diversity, man. But hip hop really saved me from a lot of shit that I had to learn the hard way. You know what I'm saying? I found strong admiration for graffiti and hip hop and MCing and all the elements. You feel me?
Earlier on, before we were on camera and we were just having a discussion, you mentioned sobriety. 12 years.
Yes, sir.
You don't look like an individual that I would have imagined that has gone through that type of thing in life.
Yeah.
Salute to you on the 12 years.
Appreciate you.
Salute to you on the transparency of telling me that.
Yeah.
And I would have no way of knowing that. Give us a little bit of your background, your struggle, your ups and downs with being an addict.
Let me see. I was just sharing about this on Instagram earlier. I came across sobriety and recovery by way of a court case. It was 2 counts of robbery that I caught at this place called Numero Uno's on Vernon in Vermont. It was
Piece of place.
Grocery store and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was living in the house on Vernon in Kansas with some other cats, who was from sets and shit, Chili Chill, Avalon, and this other cat from Spook. Okay. And it was already some cats. We had a dude from Santana, a dude from Grape. So that shit was brewing already in the house. So they had ran off the manager of the property, and it was just wide open. You know what I'm saying? And I'm on my shit, they on they shit, and I caught a case right there at that Numero Uno's, and I was already on parole. I had parole from Tehachapi State Prison.
How old were you?
Let me see. This was probably like mid-30s.
Okay.
A little later in life.
So you had, up to this point in your life, you hadn't considered yourself an addict at all? Okay,
Nah,
go
I
ahead.
was in denial.
Oh, but you have been still dealing with heavy
Yeah,
drugs.
I still been doing my shit. You know what I'm saying?
So how old were you when you first started experimenting with what we consider heavy drugs?
All right.
Not weed, not ecstasy. I'm talking beyond that.
Okay, let me see. I would say mid-20s, something like that.
And what would be the first drug you did that you consider heavy?
The Yada.
And what was the scenario?
I'd already got wet a couple of times before that.
Did you like getting wet?
Nah, it wasn't really. It was like an extracurricular thing and shit.
I got wet one time in my life, and I didn't know I was getting wet while I got wet.
And I laced your shit.
Yeah, out of town in Alabama. And what I can recall is if I could have got 1% of what I experienced, I probably would have loved it. But it was so overwhelming to where I had no control over myself, something I would never want to experience again. So I just know in my mind, if I could control and dial down the
Right.
but I got homies that I used to love and respect and adore that I lost all my admiration and respect for it because I saw what the water did to them. I saw them go from solid soldiers to just shells of themselves.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about addiction. You can never see it coming until you in it. And it's progressive. You know what I'm saying? You might think you have it in control, but like I say, the disease of addiction is progressive and shit. And, you know, you got this gorilla on your back. Once you stop feeding it bananas and shit, it only gets stronger. You know,
So you say you went from fucking with wet, and it was the yada.
other hard shit after that. You know
And
what I'm saying?
but wet is a downer, correct?
Yeah.
And then the yada's an
PCP.
upper.
Yeah.
So as an addict, being addicted to such a downing situation, what is it about the upper high that causes it to be such a it's such a difference?
Mind you though, I'm like you know, I'm a MC in the studio all the time and shit. So we thinking this is like our creative crutch and shit. That's the delusion part of it. Like we need that to
Is it really? Because if you get the history on John Lennon, nigga,
Yeah.
Prince, Michael Jackson, nigga, James Brown, nigga,
on that shit.
what, nigga? I mean, just like being intoxicated is to some degree a gateway to the other realms.
It does open up different
man.
parts of the brain that you don't have access to.
It's not use
Without
that's wrong. It's abuse.
Don't never blame the drug, man. It's just you know, addiction is centered around the way that you think and your behavior. So the drug is a drug, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's my response to the drug that makes me keep going back, and then my life becomes unmanageable, and it's progressively getting worse.
So is tolerance a word that means a lot to you these days?
Yeah, I mean, you know, certain people. I
Balance.
can't tell nobody what their status is. I just know for me how it got.
So traditionally they would say once an addict, always an addict. And I guess that means that no matter how long you've been clean, you can never just assume that you could trust yourself around the temptation of what once was your vice. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think in that regard, I believe they talking about once you see, addiction is centered around things that don't have nothing to do with drugs. It can manifest itself in different behaviors and.
Miss K taught me that. She was my DUI instructor at one point, and then she became a personal friend of mine. She's still a personal friend of mine, but she taught me that a lot of times it's not about that. It's other things, such as what?
Yeah. So say like, you know, you could be manipulative and trying to get over on shit, and you know what I'm saying? It's just different. So like somebody put a substance down, they might cross addiction that for shopping or gambling or some shit that's, you know, not as apparently bad, you know, but
So do you believe that your experience with heavy narcotics first, like you say, so I excluded the ecstasy, but did your progression go from weed, ecstasy, then sherm, or was it just weed to sherm?
it was all of it. I just say just
Ecstasy don't really count.
substance abuse, period. I mean, I didn't try everything other than needles and the straight fluke, but you know, I don't like to really get into like the actual substances and shit. It's at a point now. It's just like substance abuse, period.
So,
and shit.
okay, so instead of describing everything that you have taken, tell us the things that you definitely have never taken, if there are.
I ain't never did dog food, never did heroin.
Okay. In no forms.
Nah,
Opiates at all? this new wave that everybody's in, no form of opiates?
Nah.
So 12 years. That's
yeah,
right before
the ice cream truck drugs and shit came out. You know what I'm saying? But
do you trust it? Like saying right now, the shit that you love. If me, him, and him was right here doing it, do you trust yourself being here and saying I'm cool?
Yeah. Yep, I'm in scenarios all day, every day. I mean, I'm still in this hip hop community. I do shows. I go to studios. I go to painting events and all that, and that shit is very prevalent.
God damn, Neighborhood Nip, one of the most authentic, artistic,
yes sir,
elegant recreations of his essence I've seen in a portrait is the one that you rendered. I'm gonna make sure at this point in the visual, we have it pop up on the screen right now.
Okay.
Graffiti is one thing, homie.
Yeah.
Where did you get the fucking ability to do a animated version of him that is so authentic and real, but yet it's still not a photograph? It looks like a photograph, but it's obviously not.
Yeah.
Did you study for this, train for this, or this is just a natural God-given ability?
Nah, I ain't never been to school for what I do. No type of educational shit on that. It's just trial and error, bro. Practicing and looking at motherfuckers who used to do it before me. Shout out Ink One. You know what I'm saying? He the one that did the nip mural at Fat Burger. Yeah.
That's your people's, right?
Yeah, that's the homie. Ink One.
Because when I was introduced to your profile before I met you, it was including that you had done that. No. So when I can't lie, Factz Ova Feelinz. When I reached out to you, it was under the assumption that you had done that mural, one that a lot of us have grown to appreciate. But that's just a constituent, a partner of yours.
Yeah, that's a partner of mine. That was a miscommunication. But I was out there when he was doing it. We pulled all nighters on that shit.
You know what's up though? You know what's happening?
What's happening?
You are now my guy for all that type of work.
For sure, I got you.
I got one guy that lives in Florida, Tattoo Danny. You know I ain't gonna sell you out. He was he sleeved this whole arm. He did that G-Unit tattoo.
Okay.
And he's a tattoo artist for the Stars. And I remember when Young Buck bought his house in Nashville, Tattoo Danny came and like did the walls, like some shit like you do.
That's right.
So Tattoo Danny is the only person that'll ever be able to get up where you at. But the new venues I'm about to establish, I need you on my walls.
Okay, got you.
And from this point on, until God say something other graphic, I'm fucking with you, bro.
I appreciate
y'all ain't seen what I sing, so on my mama, his hand is blessed by God. On my mama.
I did end up doing a Nipsey though, but it was a commission job downtown at
the one you showed me.
Yeah, one of these tent shops.
I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna have that pop up right now too. Say it again. Go ahead.
It was for some Pisces, man, and the picture I chose to do a nip, it had the Slauson right there, but I had to remind myself this is a commission job because they asked me to change the Slauson to like 11th Street or some old weird street, man. I really had to separate myself from it emotionally because I'm fucking with, that's Crenshaw District. I'm out of the Crenshaw District. I don't give a fuck what his music sound like. I'm behind him. You know what I'm saying? He out here making differences and shit.
If you would have stuck to your, I think they would end up respecting it.
Yeah, they pushed it hard.
Could have found another way to incorporate their street.
Exactly. I'm telling them all that. They like, you going to get paid or not?
Oh, well.
Okay, well, hey, man.
So now, I can't help but ask, do you feel like you, in some way, dishonored his legacy by, he all money in, though, my nigga, so it's nothing, don't feel like, that's how the marathon continues, carry your marathon.
Right.
That's what he taught us, so he would not feel bad. Nightbud, he told me he could count on me, you got to give me some. He told me, he could count on me, so I'm gonna let you know. Message from Cuz, he ain't tripping.
For sure, I appreciate.
He would have wanted
that.
you to get that change.
I grew up in that area, so I know how serious it is about.
He respect the
you know what I'm saying, the soil and shit.
The fact that you took it that serious is enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. Your spirit is in the right place. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Cause I was in a position right before he passed where I had an independent deal with Cleopatra Records. Shout out Omar the Iceman who put that in position for me. Who had did some things for him when he was still on the up and coming, and I had a record that Nipsey had just blessed me with entitled Count on You. And when I played it for the label, they got kind of stoked. So I text Nipsey, I'm like, cuz, I got these white folks, I think they'll cut a check for that record, cuz. I was like, hey, do you think, I'm talking about with a huge lump in my throat, pause, like, Do you think maybe if they cut me a check or pay something that you could like split the money with me or throw me something off of it? Cuz respond immediately, cuz I don't want no money SPI. So now I'm like sweaty palms like, well, what if they want to write the check to you? Because the company is a real corporate established company. I'm not, I'm thinking they're gonna want to directly pay the artist. He say, they cut me a check, I cut you a check.
Solid, bro. Solid.
Like, bud, I love you, cuz on my mama. That's how he did it. So
solid.
I would like to reciprocate that energy to somebody that I've seen put so much of their artistic passion of rendering such a beautiful version of cuz, because I made beautiful the word established, and then the only thing other than that they want to call beautiful Nipsey Blue. And I share that with cuz on my mama. I hate to do what I'm about to do right now. I'm running against the clock today. And I need to cut this shit short.
It's all good.
As I
appreciate you, bro.
No, I appreciate you. As I extend you an invitation to return, my nigga.
Right.
My mama, and we gonna politic on everything.
Yeah.
One last question.
Help me.
What's up?
What happened with black Americans, young black American kids in LA not embracing tagging anymore? So ask that because it's all Mexican.
Oh, man.
Wait, it's all Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about tattoo. No, let me ask.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you do me? I've been curious as to this. I look at the tagging scene now. When I see brand new paint up that's not gangbang, that got colors and artistic and graffiti,
Yeah.
it always seems to have like a Latin twist. Is the black scene of graffiti in LA dead and only Latins participating? What happened to us?
Nah, the black writers ain't dead. We got we have a strong impact on the history of where it's at now, and sometimes I get in my feelings like, man, y'all trying to write us out or some shit. You got us fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But it's on us to be more prevalent, man. I don't believe in like crying over spilled milk like it's them and they did. Nah, man, we just gonna have to tighten our shit up and make our presence a little bit more known. You know what I'm saying? But the real ones know. They know about the bus mob and epidemic.
Do you guys still have a community that are aware of the active people that's fresh right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Just off of driving through the city and like noticing like, ooh, okay, I see what's popping. Because I can know what's gangbang is going on by just driving through and like, okay, so y'all have your own little like, oh, I see.
Well, I mean, one of the first old crew out here in LA is a crew called CMA, Criminal Minded Artists, and shout out to my homeboy Castro. And then after that came a crew called Rockin' the Nation. Shout out to the homie Create, Mark 7, and Ink 1. Those are black-based crews in LA. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I trip off of motherfuckers who try to bring politics into graffiti. Like part-time Southsider motherfuckers. I'm like, man, if you want a gangbang, man, go join a gang.
So y'all push that similar to the motorcycle club and the low riding.
Yeah.
Affiliated, but as much as they can, keep that shit out of here. But it still bleeds over to some extent.
Well, I mean, it's LA. If you off the porch, you're going to fall up under some umbrella at some point, unless you just like a complete like church boy or something for the rest of,
coming from a teenager and becoming a seasoned adult, and you avoided the tag of gangbanger, but you still a G. And I'm going to give you that just for me soaking up. How do you feel being such a rare dinosaur among such a few who can have that persona and not be obligated to the bullshit that we kind of sold our soul to? I salute you for that, because there's very few that maintain that. My mama, rest in peace, Black Rick. Front Street situation, never affiliated. He like my big bro and like my homie Bullet. These are the people I admire out of my East Side experience more so than the people that I know really get gritty. It's the ones that had the strength not to fall to the participation, not on no buster shit. Yeah. Because it would have been more of a buster for them to do what they didn't want to do because we wanted them to do it. So I admire that energy.
Let me see. Ask me that question again.
It wasn't no question. That was
the dinosaur. You was like, okay, so I just try to stay humble, bro. And I know shit came before me. I just want to make an impact and on the world. You know what I'm saying? On LA first. You know what I'm saying? Crenshaw District first, but the world. You know what I'm saying? That it's possible, man. If you're struggling with addiction or don't know what
you sound like that sounds like some shit he probably said before, cuz. You sure you ain't copied that? That sound like some neighborhood crip shit. Oh, wow. No, but that's fly as fuck.
That frequency, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And one thing he used to constantly say to me in our latest days before he passed was, I found myself complimenting him kind of frequently, just naturally. And his response was always so smooth, utterly, humble, and immediate. He'd be like, iron sharpen iron, this be hard. Like every time you try to give him a compliment, give it right back. And it reminded me, rest in peace to the homegirl Jessica James, because she was one of the hardest female MCs I ever knew. And we did a song called Good Money with Baguettes at one time, and my boy Cartoon from No Love on the record. And she just had a bar that just stuck out to me. She was like, something, you know the deal. And everybody balling like, give me the bill. Like, you feel me? Like everybody at the table, like instead of like trying to duck the bill, we squabbling over the bill. Like, I got it. Yeah, that's where we want to be, man. Solid. Oh, my. Rest in peace, Jessica James. Yeah, and I want to ask you this before I go, bro. Why is it that you believe that a person like me will go to a Latino for a tattoo before I go to you? Because I promise you I will.
Hey, man. On the real, bro. Hey, man. I love my people, man, but our business level, our business understanding, we need help in that area, you know what I'm saying?
But even without that, we're so artistically dominant in so many other areas. I have no problem admitting that's not one of them. That's not one. We are artistic.
Well, I remember being being up in there behind them walls. I was at one point the only black on the yard hitting portraits.
I can imagine when I see your hand.
Yeah, motherfuckers, that was my hustle in there. I stayed with some in the locker. I hit the 1 yard. My bunkie was a Mac rep. Shot me the TV, doing a portrait of my daughter and shit just grew from there. And I don't know, man, it's what it is, but I seen some dope ass essays up in there get down with they script and they portrait shit, but that's they shit.
Do you do podcasting as a hobby or a job or regularly, or is this new to you?
I have not. I'm starting to engage more with my audience on Instagram. It's gonna grow in the
Are you interested in doing podcasting more so as a...
Hell yeah, man.
I might call you back to be more of a co-host in a future episode, because I kind of like the way you carry yourself, the way you think about things before you speak. I like the cadence of your speech, and I like your history and your experience. So
appreciate you, bro.
I'm kind of like trying to find certain personalities that I can re-invite for future episodes. It don't have to be about you and me. We could talk about things that's just pertinent to our communities.
So all right, I'm with that.
I'm gonna put you on that list. I appreciate you.
Iron sharpen iron.
Oh my neighbor. Oh my Factz Ova Feelinz, the podcast.
Can I plug one more thing, man?
That's what I'm gonna tell you. Tell them that's your camera. That's the audience. That's the whole world.
For the music, follow Monstroe on all streaming platforms. For the graffiti, you can follow Stroe_One on Instagram. I'm with a crew called West Coast Creations. We got a show this weekend. We opening up for a rapper called Kool Keith. We gonna have Medusa with us, AC Alone, me, Mr. CR. Shout out Mr. CR. Shout out Patrick Antonian. You know what I'm saying? Tap in for the music. Appreciate you.
If we can somehow get him that clip today for his little promo, that little piece for his shit, that'll be beautiful, Alex. If we can't, it's not gonna happen, homie. I'm sorry, I already got it from the production. But I appreciate you.
Likewise.
And I especially appreciate you being very tapped into the fact that I'm on this rush schedule, man, and you gotta come back. The blue carpet.
Yeah, salute on that. I ain't gonna,
Yeah.
You already know.
Much love. Factz Ova Feelinz, the podcast. Shout out to Street TV, the whole squad, the whole crew, and we through. You already know everything blue.
The life we living now is all about the money. So what you gonna do when you ain't got no